Ghost nets are fishing nets that get lost into our ocean. They have a nickname of being called the silent killers of the sea because of how dangerous and harmful they are to our oceans, our plants, and our animals. A study was done around abandoned, lost, or discarded fishing gear at urban coastlines. Among the study, it was no surprise that 55% of abandoned, lost, discarded fishing gear were ghost nets. Reptiles and marine mammals were the most affected by getting left with significant scarring or even killed. The main cause for this ghost net issue is bottom trawl fishing. Bottom trawl fishing is the most common method for commercial fishing that fishers use when trying to catch bottom feeders like crab, shrimp, and flounder. Fisheries use bottom trawl fishing by using a large net with giant's weights attached to drag it down to the bottom. They then use a boat to rake the bottom floor, destroying everything and anything in its path. The United States of America needs to ban bottom trawl fishing completely. As of right now, there is a partial ban on bottom trawl fishing throughout the United States. Many states have a ban unless it is for a certain fish or in a certain area. A complete ban on bottom trawl fishing is very important as it will decrease the pollution we have in our oceans at the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is the largest of 5 offshore plastic accumulation zones in the world according to the Ocean Cleanup. This garbage patch lives roughly between the United States and Japan and is 1.6 million square kilometers in size and 88,000 tons in weight. A study was done by scientists at the National University of Singapore that discovered that 46% of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is made up of abandoned, lost, or discarded fishing gear. Within this fishing gear, 46% of it is fishing nets. Within this 46%, bottom trawl fishing is the main cause of nets being left in our ocean. A study was done that calculated 4% of all bottom trawl nets are ending up left in our ocean, while 0.75% of traps and pots that are used to catch the same fish are lost in the ocean. An over 3% difference that we can change by just banning bottom trawl fishing. Though the argument is that bottom trawl fishing is more effective, Phys.org suggests that we can increase the seafloor ecosystems and fish stocks by just banning bottom trawl fishing. This would open up more places to use these nets and traps and more fish to be caught. Theoretically, a boost of effectiveness would come into play, and over time, the ecosystem will be healthier. Another argument is that we can just clean up after ourselves. However, studies have shown that the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is increasing every year. The United States could just have a complete increase in cost on fishing nets. However, that is not the best option for a couple reasons. The fishing companies would pass on the price increase to the consumer that is consuming their product. Another reason against this would be the scraping of the bottom floor would still continue, as we would not decrease that, we're just increasing the cost of the net. Therefore, our bottom floor would still have a decrease in ecosystem. Economically, there would be a need for money if we implement this new policy. We would see a decrease in the amount of fish brought in regularly, as these nets would no longer be in use and traps take a little longer. Though they take longer, there would be a significant Though the nets take longer, there would be a significant decrease in the ocean pollution, and there would be more fish in the ocean for us to catch. Over time, with an increase in fish, it should take less as long for these traps to be effective. With a decrease in fish, we would have a decrease in an amount of fish sold, causing there to be a decrease in money. We would also need to have more money for more regulators, as many of these companies might try to get a competitive advantage by using bottom trawl fishing. Regulators should surface the ocean as well as watching these fisheries to make sure they are not bottom trawl fishing. There should also be an increase in money for nonprofits that we would need to use to get rid of some of these nets in the ocean. A small suggestion is that the United States should force many of these companies to go back and get their nets, as many of these boats have tracking devices, so many of these companies know where the nets are. A small suggestion is to make many of these fishery companies go back and get their nets. A study was shown that discussed how many of these nets are able to be tracked from good boat technology and are able to be extracted from the ocean with people on board. This would be very important for the United States to have these companies go back and get their nets, as we could recycle these nets and to use them for other good purposes or even reuse them as other nets. Still, an increase of price on these nets would still not be suggested, as many of the ocean floor would still be damaged. The best solution for the United States is to ban bottom trawl fishing completely. It will fix the ocean bottom floor and it will boost the ecosystem around us. There will also be more fish in the ocean that we can use for other traps and other methods of fishing, and we will be able to see a significant decrease in pollution on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.